What's up, guys? Welcome to another segment of Cocktails on the Couch. I'm your girl Vanessa J, and we have another important topic for you today. We discussed it before with my previous guest, Latasha. We talked about domestic violence, but I have another guest here who would like to share her story. Did you know that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men are victims of physical domestic violence or victims of sexual contact? And 1 in 15 children are witnesses of physical domestic violence. And 90% of those children are witnesses of the entire experience. Today I want to welcome you, MJ, who would like to share her story of how she was a victim for several years, about 4 years of domestic violence. Thank you, MJ, for coming on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I always like to start my show with a cocktail. So grab your drink.
Yes.
Thank you for another segment of Cocktails on the Couch. Anything clean. Good. So Margaret, you're here today because you want to share your story or how you was a victim of domestic violence and how it led to a tragic death of your child. Could you please explain to us what occurred in the past?
I remember we met back in 2006, and I mean, he was very charming. I actually met at a relative house. I was invited to her birthday party. It was back in like February of 2006, and you know, he was just real charming, a real nice guy. We pretty much instantly developed a relationship. We just had that type connection.
Okay.
And so we developed a relationship and we started seeing each other very frequently, like almost every day. And so time progressed. We went from there, dating, going out, having a good time, and then a year has passed at this moment. And once that year passed, I began to notice like different things. Him just saying little things such as like just calling me out my name, like derogatory names, and I'm like, why are you calling me out my name? I didn't do anything to disrespect you, so why would you disrespect me? And I just didn't understand that, and I would let it go. At the time I was 19 years old. I'm still young, and this is like my first real relationship. So I'm not knowing all the different components of like, okay, this is what goes into a relationship. I'm pretty much still a teenager. So yeah, we just, you know, those little things, I started letting little things go. I'd be like, oh, okay, he just playing, oh, it's funny, whatever, you know, and just letting it go and letting it go. Then it started building up to different things, calling several times, not even several, just maybe 10 times, like, where you at, what you doing? And like, I would cut off my phone, but then at that time we had a home phone. He'd call the home phone. Then we'll cut the home phone off, and then if my cellular phone is on, he would call that phone. He would call all the time, just keep calling. So it became like harassment. But I'm like, okay, maybe he just trying to, you know, check on me. He really liked me that much. And I kind of brushed it off. That's another sign I brushed off. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even know what domestic violence was. I had never heard of domestic violence. I just know like a man don't supposed to put their hand on a woman, but I didn't know what domestic violence was. And where I'm from, you know, I guess it's kind of, people are kind of used to that behavior. And so I would ask friends like, hey, is this, because I really didn't want to go to like my mom or my dad or older people.
Because you really liked them.
Right.
Okay.
You know, so
Did your parents like them?
Yes.
Okay.
At first.
Okay.
But so I really didn't want to go to my family or older people. I wanted to talk to my peers. Maybe they knew and they could provide me with answers. And it seemed as if it was like common among my peers. So I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe, you know, it's whatever.
Just the norm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was year 2, and it seemed like 3 and 4 just flew past. Well, I was together with him for 5 years, but during that first year, I didn't experience any type of domestic violence. It was just like, now I know the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
So it was the honeymoon phase at that time, and then as the years progressed, the second year, third year, fourth year, things began to get worse and worse. And I can remember the time that he punched me because I wanted to break up with him, and he punched me in my eye.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, you know, and then I later found out I was pregnant with our child.
Okay.
So, you know, that was a real hard time for me.
Right.
To be pregnant, and then this guy abused you. I did press charges at that time.
When he punched you in the eye, you did press charges?
I did.
Okay.
However, I did find out I was pregnant, you know. And when he punched me in the eye, I didn't know, but then I had went to the hospital and we did like a pregnancy test, and then I found out I was pregnant. I'm like, what do I do? Do I say, okay, now the father of my child is going to jail, or do I try to say, hey, you know, I want you to be in the life of your son? So I decided to drop the charges so the father of my child could be in my child's life.
Right.
So from there, we began to develop a relationship, and
a better relationship.
A better relationship at that time.
Did he apologize for doing all that, for punching you in the face, in the eye?
He said he was sorry.
Okay.
He did say he was sorry multiple times, and we moved in together. Things were coming along, but again, that's the honeymoon phase.
That's the representation,
right?
Of him.
Yes. Exactly. So that's the honeymoon phase. Again, here we go. You know, everything is great. And after that, living with a person, you know, different things began to occur. So more verbal abuse, more, you know, accusing me of doing things that I wasn't doing, but perhaps he was doing. So from there, I decided to leave.
Were you still pregnant?
No, after I had my son, that's when we moved in together. I'm sorry, I just specified. Yes, after I had my son, we decided to move in together. Things were going great. However, during the time frame of him living with me, or us living together rather, I should say, that's when more verbal, emotional, you know, not physical. So the physical abuse was not occurring.
Just that one time?
That one time.
Okay.
But now it went from physical to verbal, emotional, mental, financial, all these different components of abuse. So with the mental abuse, that I feel like both abuse are very detrimental to a person.
Yes.
However, but with the mental abuse, it's just like now you're trying to mess with your head. You know, my bruises and my scars, they can heal, but now you're going into this mental breakdown of a person, which is, I feel, is worse than the physical abuse, even though both abuse are bad, but I feel it's worse than the physical abuse, because now I'm being broken down, you know, just having low self-esteem and different things like that, because now I'm being broken down to that point that I don't even feel like I'm beautiful. Okay. You know, and no one wants you, no one's want to be with you, and you begin to start to believe that those types of things. So from there, you know, things began to go down the drain. Okay. So I decided to leave. I said, okay, you know what, I can't take any more of this. I decided to leave. I stayed with relatives for a short period of time, and that's when tragedy struck for my son, and as well as myself. Well, actually, he left for a while, and then once he came back, because he said he wanted to see our son, that's when everything occurred, and he stabbed me multiple times. I was pushed from a second floor window. I was raped, and my son was murdered by his father. So, you know.
Did all this happen at one time?
All this happened at one time.
Like one day?
One day. Everything happened.
Where were you guys?
We were at a family member house.
And no one was there?
No one was there.
Really?
Yeah. So everything happened all at once, and it just takes a toll on you psychologically, to lose your child to the person that you thought would protect them, but instead harmed and even killed him.
So he killed your son by throwing him out
No,
the window?
he threw me out the window.
Okay.
So I couldn't protect my son.
Right.
So first I was raped.
Right.
Then I was stabbed multiple times. So now I'm bleeding from everywhere.
Yeah.
He tried to stab me. Well, the knife was piercing almost to my heart.
Okay.
So I'm bleeding all over. And I'm halfway in the window. I go to the window to throw the knife out, and I'm halfway in the window, and I'm help. And that's when he began to push me out the window. And my son, I see him on the couch, but at this point, I'm out the window. And I'm like, help, like someone help. And my son is up there with him. Who would have thought a father would do that to their son?
Right. And how old was your son?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
So what did he do to him?
He stabbed him as well.
He stabbed him as well.
So, you know, all this took place, and pretty much I just sought after God, and I just asked, it was just me and God at that point, and I had to ask God to like really help me to get me through this, because I don't know how I would have done it if it wasn't for God.
Right.
And I just was broken down to the lowest of low,
and
just had to consult with God in regards to everything I was going through. So,
Margaret, why did you stay so long in a relationship? In the beginning, you know, your first, like I said, was a representation, it was a honeymoon stage, and then after that you started seeing the changing, the verbal abuse or what have you. So did you stay because you were pregnant? You know, why did you stay so long in a relationship?
because I did have a child, and I didn't want my child to experience a broken household.
Okay.
I wanted a 2-parent household in which I grew up in.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be a single parent, so I said, well, I'm going to try to stick it out and try to work it out.
Okay.
You know.
Did you ever fight back at all?
As far as
fight him back or anything, like, you know, sometimes like if you started the verbal abuse and emotional abuse, did you ever like fight back in a way like, you know what, you're really trying to get to me, you know, or try to hit him back or anything of that nature? Did you fight back at all, either emotionally or verbally with him, or you just pretty much dealt with it?
No, I fought back.
You did fight back?
I do have a mouth.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not gonna sit and act like, oh, I'm just that little victim, like, oh, I just, no, I said what I had to say, he said what he had to say. You know, so I did fight back, verbally, you know, and things like that. So it became a tit for tat.
Okay, so you wasn't like you was afraid of him?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't.
You weren't afraid of him? Okay. Did you ever tell anyone in the beginning?
No.
Never told anyone?
Just my,
your peers?
my peers.
Okay.
And that was it.
And they thought it was the norm. It was like, oh yeah, my boyfriend doing the same thing type of thing.
Right.
And so at such a young age, you thought that was the norm. That was normal behavior for when you're in a relationship, that it's okay for the guy to call you 10 or 15 times a day, because we always say, oh, he loved me.
Right.
Oh, he cares so much about me. Oh, he missed me. That's why he called me.
Right.
Knowing he's a nuisance, like really?
Right.
You know, find something to do.
Right.
So were you working or in school during that time?
I was actually, I was working and I was going to school.
Okay, what about him? Did he have something occupying his life too as well? That he had the time to call you like that, or?
He wasn't working at the time.
Okay. Did your parents like him at all?
He liked him.
Because he showed a different type of
representation
when he was around your parents.
Right.
Okay. So during the first 3 years of you, him, and your child, what was that relationship like?
He loved my son.
Mm.
And he would play with him. He would be there for him. However, he had his own things he was dealing with. So, you know, but he loved, I thought he loved my son. And I could have never seen him doing anything like what was done to my son. to our son. I could never see that happening.
Right. Yeah. So going back to that day, did he ever apologize for his behavior at all? Even during the times where you said you had to pretty much go back at him, or you have him out here pretty much check him back when he was treating you wrongly by the mental or verbal abuse. Did he ever apologize for that? You're like, I'm sorry, Tasha, I didn't mean to talk to you like that, you know.
He would apologize, but
it'll happen again.
It'll happen again.
Like,
and again, you know. So
right, like right away.
I'm not right away, but it let it die down, and you think things are going better, and then he would go again, something else happens, and then he apologizes. You know, I apologize, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Was it triggers that had him to...
For him?
Yeah, triggers for him that he thought about you that made him react in that manner.
It could have been.
Okay, but you just didn't know what the triggers were.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because sometimes, like, when I talk to people before who've experienced that, it was like they're upset about something. Because I was in a verbal abusive relationship where the guy, like, say for instance, he couldn't go on the interview, didn't get the job, or he mad at his parents, and he come back and take it out on, you know, the spouse or what have you, or take it back on the girlfriend. Sometimes he had those triggers that make them react that manner. So I was wondering if he did the same thing.
It could have been triggers.
Okay. Have you forgiven him?
Yeah.
You forgave him? Okay. You was kind of hesitant about it.
To a certain extent.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened after that? Did he go to jail, or did they catch him? What happened?
They caught him.
They did catch him?
He went to jail. He's in jail.
He's still in jail now?
Yeah, for life.
For life?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you talked to him at all?
No, I don't have nothing to say.
Right. So how are you dealing with it? What's your coping mechanisms now to dealing with the tragic loss of a child, you know, and experience of that abuse? Or we can't say it could have been avoided, because you never know what's on these people's mind. You know, you never know what's their mental state, you know, and where they are. And you never thought in a million years he would go to that extreme. You know, be upset, cuss you out, here or there, whatever. It's still wrong, but you never thought he'd go to that extreme. But what coping mechanism are you doing right now for you to deal with this on a day-to-day basis?
I consult God.
Okay.
And I go to therapy.
Okay.
And like I talk to friends and family when I'm feeling certain ways, and, you know, about my son's death. You know, so I have a great support system.
Good.
So, and I try to work out a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little, but I try.
Yeah, to clear your head.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. And another thing is shopping, but
okay, that's always good therapy,
right?
By itself, shopping is therapy.
So that's pretty much it.
So, have that relationship, has that changed your outlook on men and other relationships you've had since that time? Like, are you kind of skeptical going to the relationship, and you know, anything that may happen that may trigger from the way he used your previous boyfriend treated you in the past? Do you, like, you know, jump, or, you know, has that affected you in any way?
Like far as it has.
Okay.
It's very difficult today at this initial time frame. So I'm still working that out.
Okay.
But there are certain triggers about certain things. I wouldn't say, like, you know, I jump or anything like that, but like certain things that are stated, I would think about that, like, oh, I remember he said that, you know.
Right.
So you'll do a comparison, and you can't compare people.
Right, you can't.
So
yeah, you want to give people a benefit of the doubt, but still in all, you still in a healing process yourself.
Right.
You know, but it's been several years, but you still trying to heal yourself, and I can understand. Whereas, I mean, I don't know. Do you, like, elaborate to each person you date what occurred? Do you share that experience, or do you keep it to yourself?
I share it.
You do share it, okay?
Because it's all over. So if you look up my name, you know, it's all over. So I share it with them. But it has been difficult today
to be in a relationship.
Right.
Okay. What if you were to say something to your ex? What would it be? If you had any words to say to him, what would it be?
I don't have nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
Nothing.
None at all. There's nothing you can say.
No.
Right.
Even if you say, oh, why? he gives me a reasoning as to why it's not bringing my son back.
Exactly.
So there's no reason for me to even talk or say anything to him. Period.
Right. And how often you going to therapy?
I go once a week now.
Okay. Okay. So before you were going a little bit more in the beginning?
In the beginning, yeah, I was going.
And it has helped you?
It has helped tremendously.
Yes.
To have an outlet and have a person to talk to. And I know a lot of, especially in the African American community, you know, oh, you go to therapy because you're crazy.
Exactly.
It's not
that.
It's not you're crazy or anything like that. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. And I think that everyone should take the opportunity, you know, if they're going through something and they need someone to talk to, I would suggest, you know, hey, try therapy.
Right.
It's not you crazy or anything like that. It's just that you want someone to talk to.
Right. And listen to you.
And listen to you.
Right.
That's it.
That's
you
it.
know, so it was very helpful for me. And my family actually made me go.
At first you was kind of hesitant to go.
Right.
Because they had those things in your head.
Right.
Like it's for crazy people or whatever. So.
Well, not even for if it's for crazy people, but just I don't want to go. I don't need it.
Okay.
I'll just.
You think you can do it by yourself?
I can consult God with it, and God will work it out, and everything going to the religion or my religious background in regards to certain things. I'll pray about it, and God gonna work it out.
Right.
However, I feel like God provides different tools and instruments through people. And now I'm like, okay, you know, going to therapy, that's an instrument that God has placed down here or a tool for you to use in order to get through certain things that you're currently going through.
Right.
So not only just consulting him, but working with the different tools and instruments that he has placed down here for us to use to get through certain trials and tribulations.
Right. Right. So I know you mentioned before how you was 19, you were very young when you first experienced this. And you didn't even know that that was some form of abuse, the emotional, the verbal, you know, like you said, your friends, oh, it's the norm. And you see it all the time on television, or you see it now with generations, you know, with these younger kids, you know, they may be experiencing the same thing. What message would you give to women or men who are experiencing some type of domestic violence, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial? What message would you give to them?
Don't ignore the signs.
Okay.
Before things occur, there are always different signs. And I think that now, opposed to back then, the internet, the YouTube, the everything like this back in 2006, it wasn't, you know, you'll have Facebook and little things like that.
Right.
But it wasn't as popular as it is currently.
Absolutely right.
So it's more research and more information out there about domestic violence that can provide you with the different signs and you know, intimate partner violence. Don't ignore the signs.
Right.
If someone's not treating you right, you know, you don't need to be with that person if they're not going to treat you right.
Right.
So just don't ignore it.
And if it becomes physical, leave.
Exactly.
Tell someone.
Yes.
You know, because a lot of times people don't say anything. They just stay there because they have a child or they don't have anywhere else to go. You know, the family abandoned them. Whatever the case may be, or they're just young and they might just be, you know, so into that relationship that they don't know what to do, you know, but try to tell someone.
Right. And there are different programs that can assist with different domestic, like if you're going through domestic violence, and they have places where you can go and that can help you.
Right.
At that time I didn't know, and I really didn't want to go to like a shelter or anything like that, but they have like actual homes and things like that, and you know, that you can check into.
Right. So now, since you've experienced, are you affiliated with any non-for-profit domestic violence organizations at all?
I speak at a couple of different places.
Okay.
Through the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and so that's one of the very top people that I kind of work with on a daily basis, and just different organizations.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on our show, and I do want to, you know, let people know that domestic violence is real. It's real, and you know, you need to be awareness of all the signs, like MJ said. There's so many signs you need to be aware of, whether it's the mental, the physical, you're not treating you correctly, male and or female, because it's happening in everywhere in the LGBT community. It's happening everywhere, and you need to be aware of it.
And even now it's the cyber abuse.
Yes.
So it's not only just those mental, verbal, emotional, physical. It's cyber abuse because now people are hacking into people's Facebook and
absolutely.
just finding out. So it's more to look out for nowadays.
Right. So if you are experiencing any type of domestic abuse, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. And please get the help that you need. I want to thank you, MJ, for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And I would like to end with a cocktail.
Yes.
Thanks for another segment of Cocktails on the Couch with your girl, Vanessa J. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
Bye.